y'all, welcome back to my channel. It has been a very long time. I have started YouTube months and months ago with the intentions of doing regular videos and not taking such a long break. So I'm back and I'm here to tell you why I was gone for so long. Many of y'all know I am pregnant and I am in the third trimester. I am almost 8 months pregnant. I only got 8 weeks left to go, so I'm in my 8th month. So with that being said, I am making a video about my very, very emotional pregnancy. So if you want to hear my longish story about everything that has been going on while I've been pregnant, just keep watching. All right, so I have had an amazing pregnancy physically. I've had symptoms that, are very, very easy to handle. I did not have a whole lot of sickness. I did have morning sickness, and I'll kind of go into what started and how it followed and everything like that. If you hear anything like sniffing or snorting, it is my dog who is down here below me. But I'll kind of start from the very beginning and then let you know everything that has followed and happened throughout my pregnancy. But physically, it has been great, and I haven't hated being pregnant. I really haven't. Emotionally, though, it has been a roller coaster a majority of the time. I can now sit here and be happy and tell you everything is going to be okay. He is a healthy baby boy, and I am so excited for either end of February if he wants to come early, or beginning of March, and hopefully he doesn't come too late. But anywho, I am just very excited to now be able to get back into things and not be so emotional. Normal pregnancy is already emotional, but I'll kind of go into that. So starting out, I found out I was pregnant pretty soon. I was 4 weeks pregnant when I found out. So immediately when I missed my first period, I found out I was pregnant. I had no symptoms at all. Wouldn't have known if I didn't take a test and it was positive. So symptoms didn't really start happening until 6 weeks. And once I hit 6 weeks, my symptoms were food aversions. Nothing sounded good. All I ate was a lot of box mac and cheese. So Easy Mac was all that I felt was that I wanted. Like everything else thinking of it made me sick to my stomach. So I ate a lot of that and avocados. So avocados and a lot of mac and cheese. So that was the first thing. And it did come with a lot of nausea, just a lot of things because they didn't sound good. Just made me like, ugh. But never got like physically sick. I would gag or dry heave, as unattractive as that is. That would happen. And that lasted up the whole first trimester, the rest of that time. Once 12 weeks hit though, which is your second trimester, and they do tell you that's when things start to go away, like your nausea, and if you are getting sick, not much is going to be happening in your second trimester. But for me, when 12 weeks hit is when my morning sickness started. So I started actually getting sick only in the mornings, thank goodness. So I was able to work and be fine. But if I smelt my dog's dog food, it is just dry food. If I smelled it, it made me throw up. If I waited too long to eat in the mornings, it made me sick. If I went to do the dishes, which I quickly stopped doing, not complaining, but that made me sick as well. So that lasted maybe 4 to 6 weeks, not too long. It was manageable, but hard to get used to. Like most times I did feed my dog, and I have to feed him. And then most times my husband would try to help, but if he wasn't here, it fell on me, and I just tried to plug my nose and get through that. So that wasn't too bad. Later on in the second trimester, I started to experience heartburn. Heartburn is horrible. I will say that has been the worst symptom, other than I have, you can tell, gained a lot of weight. You can see it in my face. I've already hit gaining 30 pounds, if not by now 35 pounds. I am 5'1", and was hoping not to gain that much. So my face is a little plumper. It's got, I call it pregnancy face. My hands, I can't wear my rings anymore because they're also swollen, but also a little chunky. But I do have a big old belly. It's nice and firm. So I'm hoping a lot of this is just baby. I know I have gained some extra weight, just because I don't eat the best. But I also haven't been eating for 2. So I don't know. It just comes with it. I'm trying to embrace it, trying to be cute to overcompensate for the weight gain. So I'm hoping I don't have too much more to gain because I'm getting a little worried. But anywho, it hasn't been pretty hard as far as symptoms go. Cravings, I do have some cravings. Like you would think the things that you can't have would be easy not to crave. But of course I want them. I want a cold turkey sandwich. I want salami. I want Slim Jims. And I want sushi. So I have been eating sushi, but I get it cooked. But that is my main thing, is like hibachi sushi. I want it all the time. All the time. And cereal. Cereal has always been my favorite. But when I have heartburn, I will just eat a lot of cereal or drink a lot of chocolate milk. So that is what I have had happen. So physically, like I said, it's been pretty great. Now, the emotional part. I am a first-time mom. So that already comes with a lot of worry, a lot of, you don't know what to expect, a lot. So, of course, when I got pregnant, it was mainly excitement. I wasn't very nervous because it was planned. But of course you get that, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be responsible for a human being that is mine. And of course that comes with some nervousness, but mainly it was just excitement. So, of course, first thing I wanted to do was figure out what he was, a boy or a girl. And so that's the video of my gender reveal. I want to say, by then I was 10 weeks, 12 weeks pregnant. When we found out what he was through the blood test, the genetic testing. So with the genetic testing, you find out the gender, and then you also can find out if there are any birth defects. So that apparently there's 2 stages to the genetic testing. So the first part, everything came back good and normal, all my readings, and my sister and sister-in-law found out the gender of the baby, threw me the gender reveal party, and all was well. My next appointment was part 2 of the genetic testing that I was not aware of, but I was like, okay, well, it was only 1 test, where the first part was like 12 tubes of blood, where this was just 1. So I had no worry. I was like, okay, well, we'll do that. And it was for spina bifida. So I don't have spina bifida. My husband doesn't. It's not in our family history. Things like that. So I took that test, that blood test, and thought nothing of it. Waited for the results to come in. And after you take your blood tests, you sit with your doctor like normal. They go over what to expect when you do these blood tests. And they say, you know, we'll give you a call, or if not, you just check your My Chart. But if we call you and it's from a genetic counselor, that means they're going to go over a positive result and offer you some information about it and where to go from there. So I was at work, and I would say this was maybe a week after I took the second part of my blood test, and I missed a call. And you can read your little transcripts on your phone from the voicemail, and I saw that it was from a genetics counselor. So immediately at work, I'm freaking out. So I step away and I make the phone call to contact them back and figure out why they were contacting me. So I got with one of the ladies who had called me, and it was pretty immediate that I was able to get back in contact with them. And she told me that my blood test for the spina bifida came back slightly abnormal. So the cutoff to normal was 2.5, whatever that reading is. 2.5 was the cutoff to normal, and mine was 2.7. So the average reading is usually in the ones. Cutoff to normal is 2.5. Mine was 2.7. So immediately come the tears, because even though she was telling me nothing could be wrong, you know, we do get false positives, but it is abnormal. So this means there could be a possible hole in his spine. But don't worry too much. You have another appointment in 4 weeks. So, of course, I'm going to worry. First time mom, hearing that something can be wrong, especially a hole in their spine. Immediately, I was in tears and could not think of a good situation. I just couldn't. I mean, I don't know why. It was just stress. I'm like, I want to know right now, is he fine? Is this true? Is it not? I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure a lot of moms can relate to that. So I work with amazing women who were there to support me, because I was in the middle of work, and they were very understanding to why I was so emotional. They let me go home. I was able to get an appointment the next day, and they did call me right back, and they said that they're going to refer me to a specialist because of the abnormal reading, and they were able to get me in the next day to do an ultrasound and check his spine. So I now have to go to a specialist regularly, just as much as I go to my OBGYN. So at the specialist, they were able to look at his spine and confirm it was my anatomy scan by then. I was 19 weeks, so they went ahead and did. There's my dog. He is just playing around. Say, hey, Winston. Say hello. But anyway, he was able to look at his spine and let me know that everything was normal, and that yes, there are a lot of false positives, but I do have to continue going to the specialist the remainder of my pregnancy because of the abnormal reading. So they went ahead and did my anatomy scan like normal, and now all further ultrasounds will be done through the specialist, not my OBGYN. So with that being said, I felt a lot of relief, very, very happy. Also just overwhelmed with now I have to go to 2 doctors. One is pretty far. I mean, it's like 30 minutes from me. And then my OBGYN is like 10 minutes from me. So anyway, went to a few more appointments. And then they did a 3D ultrasound as I got further along. The specialist does 3D ultrasounds just to make sure. They just do more detailed ultrasounds, so I get a lot more than a normal person would in pregnancy. Usually you just get one a trimester and that's it. So I get a lot of ultrasounds, which I'm happy to see him a lot more. But they do 3D ultrasounds just to look and check everything is measuring good, and they check all and everything of him very thoroughly, and everything has been well until one day I went, and this was maybe 6 weeks ago at this point. I am 32 weeks, so I think I was maybe 27 weeks at this point. So they did the 3D ultrasound. I thought everything looked good and normal. I did the normal routine as I go. I get my ultrasound done. When they're through, they give me some printouts, and they have me sit and wait to talk to a nurse, and I did that. So I sat and waited, talked to a nurse. The nurse sat me down, went over my weight gain, everything that they need to go over, but then ended with, so what we saw in today's ultrasound was, and then immediately, of course, I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Nothing. I saw him. I have these printouts, and he's fine. But she said is a possible bilateral cleft, meaning he would have cleft lip from up here into his nose all the way down, so a complete bilateral cleft on both sides of his face or his lips. And I know that's fixable. So it was not as much of a worry as the spina bifida to me, but of course it's something you don't want because he's going to have surgery, multiple surgeries, and starting out as young as 3 months old. So it's just something that as a mother you obviously don't wish for, but you do know it's fixable. She said the palate looks complete, so if anything it is just the cleft lip. So it would just be his lip, not his palate. And then that was it. So she's like, do you have questions? I mean, I was by myself. My husband doesn't come to the ultrasounds only because it conflicts with his work schedule, but works with mine. So anyway, it's normal to me to just go by myself, but was not prepared to hear more news of something possibly being wrong with him. So I just shut down. I didn't know what to ask, other than like, this I know can be fixed, but when? What does this look like? He's going to have trouble feeding, breastfeeding, I plan to do. So it was just kind of a lot to handle, just hearing randomly when you just saw your baby on the screen and didn't think anything of it. And I said, but I just don't understand. I didn't see anything, and I have these pictures she printed me, like, look at these, they're fine. What do you mean? And she's like, some look completely normal and some look like he possibly has it. So again, this was a nurse. I was never told that the doctor would come talk to me. She said to call the doctor, which we all know is impossible to get a hold of a doctor. So I did that. I called, talked to the front desk, which is who you get whenever you call them anyway. And they directed me to the nurse's line, which would be who directs me to the doctor. And I never got a call back. Never. And I had to wait 3 weeks. 3 weeks till my next appointment. They could have, 1, not told me until they knew 100%. 2, they could have sent me back into the ultrasound room to confirm or deny right then and there. Or 3, had the doctor come talk to me. And none of that happened. Again, I was in shock, didn't know what to do, didn't know what to say, was kind of embarrassed if I started bawling my eyes out. I don't know why. Again, I was by myself and pregnant, very pregnant, and just didn't know what to do. I think if someone was with me, I would have known the right things to say, the right things to ask, but I didn't. And so I left upset once again, and was able to, calm myself down a little bit, talk to my husband, my sister-in-law, and my mother-in-law. They're all amazing people, and I'm gonna get emotional just because, it's been a rough pregnancy as far as emotions, and I have just been trying to, in the beginning when people tell me these things, I get so worried and I think of the worst and I just assume they're right. All these things are going to be wrong. But they always tell me, Caitlin, stop worrying. Everything's going to be okay. Nothing is wrong with him. We see it. We see it with our own eyes. He is perfect and God makes no mistakes. And that is true. So even if he has these things wrong, he chose you to be his mother because you can handle this. And that is true. So I know that it's just hard to hear and you're already emotional anyways. So, you just, I had to think, okay, if this is it, this is it. And that's fine. And I'm going to handle this and we're going to go about it and we'll know when he's here, whatever, we'll just see, and I'll wait the 3 weeks to come and confirm or deny. So anyway, I did already have an appointment booked with a outside ultrasound place, which does 3D ultrasound because I was not aware that I would be seeing a specialist, or two, that they did 3D ultrasounds. But anyway, they give you a large thing of printouts and a DVD of him moving. So I still paid the extra. It was my Christmas gift. And so that I felt like I would be able to see myself when she did it, if this was there or not, the bilateral cleft. So when I went to the ultrasound, I did not personally see anything, and I felt a lot of relief, just because I felt like, and I would see it. I'm not a trained ultrasound tech, but I feel like that is something so major that you should be able to see it in an ultrasound. By that time I was 29 weeks, and I saw nothing abnormal, at least. And so I finally, that was before my actual confirmation or denial appointment back at the specialist. So 2 weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago, about a week, I went back to the specialist, and they did a thorough ultrasound. I was probably in there for an hour because he constantly hides his face. He's already dropped. It's early, so that kind of freaked me out, but they said this is completely normal. But he is very, very low. He pushes up against my placenta, and his legs and arms are always above his face. So they took their time. They really wanted to tell me yes or no, and he does not. He does not have a cleft lip at all. So it comes with two emotions. Obviously, just super, super relieved that he won't have to go through any of that process, being so little when he's born. And then a little bit of frustration with the doctors, because most of my pregnancy has been worry of things that aren't even there. So I don't know why. I don't know if it's a policy or what, if they are made to tell you before they actually know, or they're just jumping the gun and telling a pregnant lady that things could be wrong. But we don't know for sure, and we'll confirm in 3 weeks. And so anyway, I just had to start to tell myself before I knew is that, I was blessed enough to get pregnant as quickly as I did. I got pregnant the first time trying, and I mean, that alone is a blessing. Like, a blessing. It was not hard for me, and I can't take that for granted. And there's a lot of things that I try not to take for granted, just considering a lot of things that I've been through in life. So I just started to feel a lot of peace before I even knew if this was true or not. Just because I'm like, I have to be grateful for the things that I am given. I am able to bring life into this world, and I am just super excited and super grateful. And now just super relieved to know he is 100% healthy, and I cannot wait for March 5th or sooner or later for him to just be here. It was a lot of worry, but it all will be worth it in the end. So I just wanted to share some of that, because I don't know if this happens to a lot of people. Only one of my sisters have had a baby already, and she did not experience this. A lot of people are pregnant right now. It's crazy. It's a baby boom. And I have not heard that they have dealt with all these things that a doctor tells you that aren't true, but then they send you on your way for you to come back many weeks later worrying the whole time. So I am definitely just happy now, and I can enjoy these last 2 months of my pregnancy. Finally. I'm just excited to start this journey, and I hope that I can make an appearance back on YouTube. I know it's been a while, so I know it might take a little bit to get back in the groove of things. It was a lot of work, but I am finally in a stage where I am emotionally okay. I have more motivation. So this will be another priority of mine, and we'll get back into it. I'm very excited. I can't wait to show you little Cason Blake skeleton, and I think I can make a lot of videos with him and me being a first-time mom, and I don't know what I'm expecting. I have no idea. Come along with the ride with me, and we'll see what happens. Thank you guys for watching. Just know that this happens and everything could be completely normal. So don't let doctors tell you something and let you be on your way. I wish I stood up stronger and I asked more questions and I was physically able to handle the information that they were giving me. So next go around, I will not let this happen. If they tell me something, I'm going to be like, okay, you're going to tell me this now. So we're going to figure this out right now. So you're going to tell me, you're going to send me back in there, and we are going to figure this out today. We're not waiting. But anyway, thanks for listening to me ramble. But I am very excited for these next few months to come. Don't know what to expect. All right. Y'all have a good day.